guys, welcome back to the PA Platform channel. Today we're going to talk about low GPA, and I know that this can be uncomfortable, but hopefully it will be encouraging to you. And if you're dreaming of becoming a PA, this will give you some inspiration and a little bit of that oomph to keep going. GPA can be a tough subject to talk about. It comes up a lot. I get a lot of questions about it. So I wanted to do a video just diving into how you can still get into PA school even if you have a low GPA. And I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and go back and look at our previous interviews and videos we've done with other people who have had low GPAs and have successfully become PAs. So we'll talk about what is a low GPA for PA school and what you should be shooting for and looking at to make sure you're on target. And then we'll also be talking about things you can do. How can you make your application better and stand out and improve it if you do feel that GPA is an issue for you. If you have any questions about GPA, leave them in the comments and I'll get to them. But let's dive in and see if we can shed a little light on this. Okay, first things first. What is a low GPA, or what is a good GPA for PA school? Let's clarify a little bit what this actually means. The GPAs that PA schools are typically looking for are your overall GPA and your overall science GPA. So when you're looking at minimums and program websites, you'll see these listed all the time. When you actually get your CASPA GPAs calculated, it's a whole page. They calculate all these different ones, but ultimately that overall science and overall GPAs are the ones that we want to think about. Now your overall GPA is calculated from every class you've ever taken. Dual enrollment, repeated courses, post-bac, grad school, any class you've taken in a college, university level will be included in this overall GPA. Now the overall science GPA is similar, but it's only the science classes. And I would encourage you to go to the CASPA FAQ website and look at what's actually included in those science courses, because you might be surprised. Psychology is never going to be a science class, whereas things like public health might be. And we have a whole video about how to assign courses, so make sure you check that out if you're being confused by that. Now for most programs, when you're looking at their minimums, you're going to see that 3.0 listed as the minimum. But I would also encourage you to look at the accepted averages. Schools will post what the averages of their most recent class was. And in this, you're gonna find that the average is usually around a 3.5. But just because you don't have a 3.5 doesn't mean you're out of the game. Unfortunately, you will have to meet the minimum that the school is asking for, or it's unlikely that they'll even look at your application. So that 3.0, sometimes a 2.75, just check the program websites and see what it is they're looking for. You might even find some programs that don't have a minimum, but when you look at those averages of what they accept, you might be surprised to find that they're very high. They're 3.75 or something crazy. And that can tell you that that school is putting a lot of weight on GPA and that they want to see a higher GPA even if they don't have it listed as a minimum. So have your schools that you feel like you're a good fit for, have some reach schools, but ultimately you do have to meet the minimum. Now it's important that you have a good calculation of what those CASPA GPAs are going to be before you apply. Every year people are surprised in April, May, and June when their GPAs are calculated and they're lower than they were expecting. So when you are trying to figure out where your GPA is, make sure you're doing it correctly. We have some videos and blog posts about that as well, or you can use Mapped. Mapped is a tool where you plug in all of your coursework and it will calculate your GPAs accurately. I know this because I made the GPA calculator and made sure it was perfect for PA school. Now GPA and grades, they're not the most important part of your application, but they are a part that schools are looking for. And while schools do tend to look at your whole application and want to see your experience and your personal statement and all of those things, from the perspective of a PA program, they have to make sure that you can handle the coursework and they have to standardize this process. That makes it super tough if you've taken classes a long time ago or changed your major, or it took you a little while to find the PA profession and maybe college was off to a bumpy start. But it's not something that you can't overcome. And I think by looking back and seeing those stories of others that we've shared, you'll be encouraged to know that even if you feel like the GPA is your weakest link, you can still move forward with your goals of becoming a PA. Don't feel like one bad grade or one bad semester is going to take you out of the running. You can still do this. So we want to look at the big picture. And if you do find that your GPAs are not quite where they need to be, you've kind of gone through, you've calculated, you're looking at your grades, What can you actually do about it? The first thing is take more classes and look at your grades and see what needs to be improved. My recommendation is to try to have a B or higher in all prerequisite coursework. Even if that means retaking it, you may need to take that step. If you've completed all prereqs, got the grades you need, next would be doing the recommended coursework. So if a school says they recommend genetics, but it isn't required, to me, that's required. And then after that, any post-bac work or any additional science courses. It's important to look at taking upper level sciences because you're getting a double whammy. If you get a good grade, that's going to help both your overall GPA and your overall science GPA. And while it can be hard to increase GPA, it's kind of unfair. We start with a 4.0 and we can only go down. But with time, with effort, you can increase it. You can show that you have an increasing trend, that you're doing well over time, that you can handle a lot of this difficult coursework all at once. And that's what the schools want to see, okay? So if you feel that GPA and grades are the weakest part of your application, it should be something you're working on. Because as we get to the other parts of the application, having a lot of experience or high quality experience can help your GPAs. It's not necessarily going to outweigh a low GPA or, counterset that enough. So you want to try to balance everything as much as possible. Getting good clinical experience, having that patient care experience and hours, good quality, volunteer work, leadership, shadowing, all the things is still very, very important. But those minimums, they give people every year. So we have to meet those because I don't want you wasting your time and money if it's not where it needs to be. We do provide counseling on this, so we have an option if you are unsure where you're at or what you need to do. We do offer low GPA counseling with our pre-PA coaches. So if that's something that you feel like you need help with or you're struggling with, that may be a good option to look at to see if we can help you figure out your next step. Beyond your experience, what else can we do? When it comes to your personal statement, a question that comes up a lot is, should I address my grades and my GPA? My rule of thumb is that if you feel like it's something that would prevent you from getting an interview, it's worth talking about in your personal statement. I got a C+ in organic chemistry. Did I talk about that? No. But when I got to my interviews, I did bring it up because I felt like at that point they had seen my application, they'd seen my grades, and I could explain that a little bit better. But for your personal statement, one grade, a couple of grades here or there are not going to be a big deal as long as you still meet the requirements. If you had a tough semester, if you had a semester where you really struggled, where you withdrew from every class or your grades were overall low, that may be a good opportunity to kind of say, hey, this is what happened. It's not going to happen again. I feel better. I've learned how to cope. I've learned how to ask for support. And moving forward, I don't think this will be an issue in PA school because that's the main goal, is figuring out if you've struggled in the past, is it something that you now know how to study, how to use resources, and you will not run into that issue later on. And in PA school, you'll be able to push through. That's the school's concerns. We want to see that your test scores are good, you have a great letter of recommendation. Again, those things are not going to offset that GPA. So I don't want this to be discouraging. I want you to feel encouraged. In our Pre-PA Club Facebook group, I see people all the time talking about how they have gotten into PA school or they found success in helping each other. Don't be scared to ask for help. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. If you're in Pre-PA Academy, we'll work together on that as well. But just know that your GPA does not define you. Stay focused, work hard, don't give up. And if you have any questions, let me know. Put them in the comments and I will try my best to help you. We do lots of webinars and workshops, so sign up in the description as well to get our email list so that you don't miss out on those and we can help you achieve your goal of becoming a PA.